Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who will. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawada from the Men of Valor Campaign in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, it can be edifying. And breaking news, all right, gold is at a record high, all right, and silver at a 14-year high. All right, let's get into it. And I'll make a couple spiritual connections. All right, so this will be, partially a, economic report, if you will. All right, and partially a spiritual report. All right, we're spiritual, men at the end of the day. All right, so for Market Watch, gold hit a record and silver's at a 14-year high. This Wall Street bank says 2 other commodities will join the party. All right. It says gold was headed for a fresh record on Monday, and silver hit a more than decade high, with Citigroup strategists predicting the rally for the precious metals to continue and carry other metals. Gold jumped $44.40. All right, and I saw that immediately. 444, right? All right, mercy. Or 1.2% to $3,750. All right, this is pinned to the, this is comparing it to the U.S. dollar. An ounce early Monday, putting it on path for a fresh closing high. Potentially is 36 this year. So it just keeps going up, which means what? It means that people flock to these commodities like gold and silver. All right, and, it's referred to as God's money. All right, you go back into the scriptures, scriptures say that Abraham was rich in cattle and land. He had servants. All right, he had gold and silver. Okay, those are real tangible, assets. All right, so if you're holding gold right now, man, you're doing pretty well. All right, even if you're holding silver. All right, from a financial perspective, it says the contract also set a new intraday high, reaching $3,753 an ounce, according to Dow Jones market data. Silver, meanwhile, rose over 2% to $43.86. That's like, an ounce, reaching an intraday level at $44.10, not seen since August of 2011. All right, and that was during a recession. Investors are now watching to see if silver at long last reaches a new settlement high that was $48.70 an ounce, reached in January of 1980. Citigroup strategists told clients in a note that they are bullish on those precious metals, as well as 2 others. We see the gold and silver bull market broadening and eventually shifting into copper and aluminum during 2026, driven by the prospect of new dovish Fed leadership by May and June of 2026. This is Powell's last year as the Fed chair. And related lower U.S. real interest rates and downward pressure on the dollar, wrote a team led by Maximilian Leighton, global head of commodities. Driving the upside will be cyclical factors: continued weak labor market, tariff-driven U.S. and growth worries, and structural ones such as worries about U.S. debt and a weakening dollar. Right, this represents the dollar becoming weaker and weaker. Right, they cut interest rates last week by 1/4 basis point, and they're planning on cutting it 2 more times, which makes it easier to continue to stack on debt, if you will, just to put it plainly. All right, so nobody's really confident in the U.S. dollar anymore. It's losing its hegemony. All right. And on top of that, hell, all these nations are gearing up to go to war against America. In addition, we see stimulus from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act reaching households and heading capex investments momentum during 1H26, driving an improvement in the U.S. and global growth and sentiment, much like late 2007, early 2008, they said. So we're in a recession. Nothing that just about everything is going right for the gold bull market at the moment. Leighton and his team suggest buying any dips in gold prices targeting 3,800 an ounce in the next 3 months. But seeing it peak in the first quarter of the year, their bull case sees gold reaching $4,000 in the coming months in a scenario of stagflation and growing Fed independence concerns. A bear case projects price to dip to $3,400 an ounce, with the economy muddling through geopolitical de-escalations. So, you could read this article. It's going to go into aluminum and copper, but it's just giving a financial overview of where we are right now. When gold and silver and these precious commodities, spike like this, and they said it's hit a new high 36 times this year alone, which means that nobody really trusts the U.S. dollar anymore. And hell, the one thing that kept the U.S. dollar afloat, because it is a fiat currency and it has been taken off of, as far as being pinned to the gold standard, is the fact that everybody was buying gold, not buying gold, but buying oil in dollars, the petrodollar. But now you have nations that are trying to combat that and not deal with the U.S., anymore. So from a economic perspective, yeah, we're in a recession. We're probably past a recession. We're in depression mode, all right, and they don't want to, spook anybody, all right. But the proof is in the pudding, all right. When gold hitting record highs like that, and they're saying it's going to continue to go up, that means that faith in the U.S. dollar and the U.S. economy is dwindling. Now, from a spiritual perspective, all right, gold is continuing to hit these all-time highs. Hey, Akim, our stock is going up, man. All right. I like to do these type of videos when this news comes out, because our stock is going up, man. All right. The Lord is forging us into, these precious and comparing us to these precious metals that are purified under fire and pressure. All right. They don't burn. Okay. So let's get into that. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3. And let's see where we want to start. I'll start at verse 8. It says, "Now he that planted and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor." Yeah, that's why the scriptures say, working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, yeah, we're brothers. You camp with brothers. You fellowship with brothers, but ultimately your walk with Yahweh Shema Shai is yours alone. All right, and it's very much independent, to the next brother. All right, your salvation won't be pinned to that next man, but your own works. In verse 10, "According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth upon." Right, we have our apostles and elders that have laid the foundation for us. Yahweh Shai even said that the Lord has sent us forth, sent man forth to go and bring forth fruit, and that their fruit should remain, because you shall know them by their fruits. All right. So the fact that, the ministry of the prophets, has grown, so much. All right. You have men in every major city pushing the 100% doctrine. All right. We built upon the foundations that our elders and apostles have laid. It says, "But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shah Mashiach." Right. He's ultimately our foundation. And you have Israelite camps that don't give Yahweh Shah his reverence. Verse 12, "Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble," these are all different materials. Okay. Verse 13, "Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it." And we're coming to the day where, Jacob's trouble is that trial by fire. It's that ultimate trial by fire. All right. How you've been building since this truth has gone out is going to determine, all right, whether you weather this storm that is Jacob's trouble, a time like never before. Now, those that do weather it, that have been refined, all right, are going to be delivered. All right. But those that took this time and, of mercy and grace, and bullshitted it away, all right, you're going to be left here and melted. Verse 13, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. Okay, and that fire represents that adversity. And that fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he have built thereon, he shall receive a reward. And ultimately, that reward is the kingdom, in that first resurrection, where the second death had no power. That nuclear destruction isn't going to have power over those that weathered this storm, man. It says, verse 15, if any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Now, the 2/3 of our people, because they're still Israelites, they're going to, get tried by fire as well. However, all right, they're going to have to die on this side, and we're going to get that next. We're going through, our spiritual fire as of right now, so that we don't have to go through that physical fire, where the elements shall melt with fervent heat, that thermonuclear destruction, the second death. The Lord has a remnant that he's going to deliver. Everybody's not going to die here in America, man. All right, but the mass majority of people will. All right, and there's going to be more Israelites that get destroyed here than are delivered. All right, because they didn't build upon their foundation, gold and silver. All right, we're building upon our foundation, gold and silver, those precious stones, precious metals. All right. It says, let's go ahead and grab this. This is Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And this is speaking about in America, first and foremost, and the Israelites that are on the shores of America when the destruction comes. So 2 parts therein are going to be cut off and die. 2/3. That's where we get the 2/3 from. 66.6%. All right, are going to be left here and they're going to die. All right. And that's men, women, and children. If they're not of the elect, they're going to be left here and they're going to be melted. It says, but the third shall be left therein. All right. The 1/3 is the elect. And within that 1/3, you have the 144,000. All right. Spoken about in Revelations, the 7th chapter. And we pray to be of that fold. These men are the prophets. These men are those that stood stiffly for the name of the Lord. And they're going to receive, a reward for that. Verse 9, I will bring the third part through the fire. Right. See that there we go. That fire, man, that fire. And this is going to be, physical. All right. We're going to be taken up from and escape the nuclear destruction. All right. But in order for us to get there, the Lord has been sending us through a fiery trial, since we came into this truth, since the Lord woke us up. All right. That's why you lose friends. That's why you seem to lose when the world is winning. All right. But soon the Lord, and as we can see with gold reaching these all-time highs, the Lord has our stock as men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua going up, man. All right. And although our pockets might not be full, all right, because the U.S. dollar is a fiat currency anyway. All right, it's not going to mean anything soon. What's real is going to be us having Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, having this truth. And that's going to allow us to be able to eat and drink. We're going to be merry when everybody else is suffering. That's the real currency. That's the real wealth, man. Verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. Now let's grab this. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is set to try you. Okay, we're being tried as gold and refined as silver. So don't think it's strange. We go through shit. We suffer loss. And it's not for our destruction. It's so that we can, escape this, that ultimate destruction, which is the second death. The Lord is shaping us and molding us, getting all those impurities off of us, shedding that old man. Verse 12 again, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of a Mashiach suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory in the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. You know? So that fiery trial, you know, in Sirach, the second chapter, it speaks about gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. That's just walk that we're going through now, man. You know? But our stock is going up. All right? Our stock is going up. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So again, with gold reaching these all-time highs, man, we have to know that our value is going up by the day, man. And although our pockets, our bank accounts won't reflect that, all right, because in this carnal ass world, you know, your success is measured by how much money you got in your bank account, how many holes you popping, how many cars you got, how many chains you got. All right, all that shit gonna be left here and melted. What about your character? Okay, what about your faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai? That's what's building us. That's the foundation that we've been that has been laid for us. So when that ultimate fire comes, all right, we won't get burned up like wood, hay, and stubble. We're going to, you know, our impurities have been burned away, and only left is that fine, pure gold, and that's acceptable to the Lord, man. You see how it comes full circle, man. We're walking through that spiritual fire now. You know, despise not the chastening of the Almighty. You know, we roll with the punches. We endure hardness as good soldiers of Yahweh Shah, because we're being refined and tried into these precious stones, these precious metals, man, that won't burn when that nuclear destruction hits. But we're going to be taken up. Our faith is going to allow us to be taken up into the chariots, to be saved, to be taken out of the way, while everybody else that didn't have that faith, like it says in 2nd Ezra 15th chapter, all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. They're going to be left here and melted, man. That's what's happening. So, brothers, stay strong, man. We're being, our stock is going up. Like that nigga Drake said, our stock going up like a crescendo. All right, beautiful times we're in. It's about to get worse, and people are struggling, man. People are on edge, you know, racial tensions. All right, you know, people, you know, losing their jobs and shit like that. We won't be working soon. All right, people are going to be struggling to pay their bills, struggling to eat. While what? The Lord is going to protect us, because we didn't worry about, you know, the cares and affairs of this life. Yeah, we still have jobs. Yeah, we still have bills and responsibilities, and we deal with it. But we make the main thing the main thing. We seek first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto us. All right, beautiful times we're in. So I just want to bring this out, Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kahakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.